Welcome to the Shotokan Chronicles. In today's video, some bad habits and how to fix them. But first, be sure to roundhouse kick the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of our future content. So there are things that many people do to improve their karate, whether it be kata or just basic techniques. Yes, learning to do the techniques correct is very important, but there are other things outside of the techniques themselves that need to be taken into account as well. First, breathing. Breathing is one of the most essential natural reactions that our bodies perform. We don't think about breathing, we just do it sometimes. Now breathing is really important in karate. Some styles like Goju-ryu will have heavy breathing katas, like Senshin, that they do a lot of heavy breathing like that, expressional breathing. Now we don't have any katas like that in Shotokan. The closest is Hangetsu, where there is a long breath when you do the movements, and it's a slow kata that you breathe. That you have that flowing breath. But for the most part in Shotokan, it's just natural breathing. But you should be breathing from your diaphragm. So from down in the lower part of your abdomen, you should be breathing with your stomach, so to speak. So your breath isn't up here in the upper level of your chest, that you're not breathing through your teeth. You're breathing through your stomach. So overemphasizing your breathing is not necessary. So the is not necessary. There should be an expulsion of air when you create Kime, but that should come from tightening your body for the Kime, not because you're forcing it through your teeth. Breathing incorrectly will also make you get very stiff and slow. So when you breathe from up here, you can see that I tense up. Breathing from here, you don't. If you're competing at a high level and you're not breathing, this can be devastating. Our body needs oxygen to survive. Your muscles need oxygen to process movement. So without having proper oxygen, or having that lack of oxygen, you're not going to be able to think correctly, and your muscles aren't going to be able to work correctly. Now I recall, this was a very long time ago, I was still probably Q rank. I was at a clinic and there was a student testing for, I believe it's Shodan, maybe it's Nidan, I can't remember. It was Master Okazaki performing the examination, and the student was doing his kata, and I can't really remember the kata. I think it may have been Gankaku, but I'm not sure. Each movement he was creating this loud, high-pitched breathing. I distinctly remember that. Master Okazaki failed him, I do believe, and told him to stop breathing like that. Breathing from your diaphragm will keep your body relaxed. Holding your breath will lead you to some major problems. Breathing from your teeth or your jaw is going to create fake Kime, which as an examiner, if I see you doing that in a test, I'm going to stop you and your test is over. So the next bad habit is stomping. Now it sounds really cool when a karateka makes a loud noise from stomping. That sounds cool. That sounds, wow, that was cool. In some circumstances, it's really effective in self-defense, stomping on somebody's foot. But it's not making your technique any stronger. By stomping, you're directing your force and your energy into the ground. So, for example, if you're coming forward with oizuki, with a punch, and you stomp to make the punch, that's actually what professional wrestlers do when they strike. Stomp to make that noise. And it takes the force from their fist and drives it into the floor. So it's the same thing when you're driving forward with a punch. If you're stomping your foot as you're driving forward, that's taking your energy that should be going into your hand and into the target and driving it into the ground in front of you. Now there are some jumping techniques that it would seem obvious that you're going to stomp when you land. But when you're landing, you want to always make sure you're bending your knees to absorb some of that force so you're not hurting yourself. Landing on your feet when you jump into the air can cause a lot of damage to your feet without having that cushioning. By bending your knees, you're going to absorb some of that strike, some of that force into the ground. So there shouldn't be a loud stomping noise. Now, some techniques in katas are lifting your leg up high and driving the foot down into the ground. From a practical standpoint, like I said, stomping on somebody's foot, that's of course a stomp. For training purposes, this isn't necessary. Stomping can lead to injuries. So the next one that is a bad habit is rushing your techniques, especially in kata, but also in basic techniques if you're rushing. Rushing is something that we're going to see in kata and basics. This is mainly with beginners. They're going to rush to try to get finished as quickly as they possibly can. Especially when you're telling them this is a speed kata, so they get into their mind that they have to go fast and get it finished. Now this is something that shouldn't be displayed in higher ranking black belts, but I have seen it. So this could come from improper training or from not understanding the techniques and the katas correctly. You're trying to do these techniques at the very best that you can do. You're not trying to be the fastest person in the class. And myself, I'm going to be 48 by the time this video is posted, and there's kids in my class that are like in their teens. There's no way in the world I should be able to keep up with them. I probably can, but at my age, you got to start to realize when it's time to slow down. So rushing does not show you are strong. The whole point of a speed kata is to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible. But point A isn't the beginning of the kata, and point B isn't the end of the kata. The whole point is to get from the beginning to the end of each movement quickly. Whether it's a string of movements that are 1, 2, 3, where it's a quick action, like in Empi, the sequence, where you come up, boom, boom, that's done quickly. And you also got to remember that katas have a rhythm and a tempo. You need to think about kata as a song. Now, not a dance. That's taking it into a different aspect. You need to think about it like music, rhythm, tempo, that form. If you do not know the proper rhythm of a kata, talk to your instructor about it. If they don't know the proper rhythm of a kata, or don't know what you're talking about when you say, what's the rhythm or tempo of this kata, maybe they shouldn't be teaching you. So next one is faking Kime by hitting yourself. This can happen a couple different ways. One of these could be striking your own chest when you do shuto. So you perform a shuto and you strike yourself in the chest. Shuto, the hand should be just coming back. You might hear your gi being rubbed, but you should not hear a strike. And I've seen this, and probably have done it before too, because you get excited or you try to perform the move a little too quickly. And as a lower belt, I know I used to do that. Something that you need to try to remove from your repertoire if you're doing it. Get someone to watch you and to see if you're doing it that way incorrectly. Another one is making a circular motion with your hikite, coming around and hitting yourself, or pulling your hand back and hitting yourself. Punches should go out straight and come back straight, not making any striking of your own body. Everything should travel within the silhouette of your body, not coming around in circular motions, unless it is a hook punch. So making these sounds does not show that you have any power. What they do is they show that you're trying to cheat the instructor, cheat your examiner by creating fake Kime. Now sometimes you're going to make mistakes like this and you might not even realize that you're doing it. It's a really good idea to grab a partner and perform some techniques and have them watch you to see if you're doing it, and then switch off so you can look at each other's techniques and see, oh man, you're doing this, or oh, you're doing this, so that you can help each other fix these bad habits. And I can honestly say that on occasion, as a lower belt especially, some of these I've done. And every once in a while you'll get caught up in the motion and you might catch yourself doing one of these mistakes, one of these bad habits, so to speak. Just because you're not making the mistake all the time doesn't mean that you're not going to do it every once in a while. Some things will just happen inadvertently, that you don't think about it, it just happens. And sometimes you might just accidentally do something, get excited and struck yourself. The whole point here is to make sure that you're not doing it consistently, that it's not happening all the time. If it happens once in a while, hopefully it'll just happen during a training day and not during a clinic, or a tournament, or an exam. After all, we're only human. We're going to make mistakes. The problem is, if you're doing it all the time and you don't realize it, then it becomes natural. If you can think of any other bad habits that you might have, leave a comment below and let me know. Also check the description below for our merchandise website that you can go and purchase some of our t-shirts and hats, hoodies, etc. To view some of my other content, you'll see some screens popping up to either side here. You can click on those to check out some of my other videos. Keep training hard. See you next time right here on the Shota Can Chronicles.